to What's Cooking New Ulm. I'm Rebecca Fliszar, the dietitian with the Heart Speed Back Heart of New Ulm project, working to reduce and eventually eliminate heart attacks in the 56073 zip code. Today we brought back Mimi, our chef from here at the medical center. She's going to be preparing a great dessert. You know, oftentimes on a heart-healthy diet, we always think we have to skip the dessert. So what we've done is chosen a recipe that busts that myth, I think. So tell us a little bit about the recipe and what ingredients are involved.
Well, this recipe has, it's a raspberry bar, and it has a whole wheat crust, whole wheat and pecans, and just a little bit of sugar, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and a little bit of butter, 3 tablespoons of butter will make your crust. The raspberry filling uses fresh raspberries, again, a little bit of sugar, some gelatin, and then we top that with just a couple dollops of non-fat cream cheese that's mixed with 1 tablespoon of convection or sugar and a little bit of skim milk. So it's a very reasonable dessert.
Right. Remember, when we talk about portion size, we still can keep a little bit of butter in our diet. Now, if you're going to have many pieces of this pie, probably not going to stick with that diet guideline. But if we follow our portion sizes, you're going to be right within those parameters. All right, Mimi, so let's go ahead and take a look. Now, these raspberries look great, and they taste wonderful. I have to say, I did snitch a few.
You did.
Now, these are not from Mimi's garden, but something that can easily be grown locally, correct?
Oh yes, oh yes. I'm not sure that you get this size of raspberry, but raspberries are coming into season right now in Minnesota. And
Great.
Last week in Wisconsin, my mom was picking black raspberries.
Oh, good.
So
Definitely something, again, as we talk about watching our budget and being heart healthy, this is another thing that we can incorporate into our regular menu cycle. Use the fruits and vegetables that we have to bring down your overall food budget and increase your overall food nutrition. Okay, so how do we start this off?
Well, we're going to start with the crust, and we'll be using a food processor today. The recipe calls for a white whole wheat flour, which is something you don't see a lot. It's something new that they've come up with, where they're using white flour, but it's like a whole grain.
That's right. Oftentimes now we'll see this in breads and other foods because it kind of tricks our kids and people who are used to eating white bread into eating a little bit healthier. So the coloring has been made white, but much of the nutrition has stayed. So it is a good option. It is a transition to a whole wheat flour, and it might get your kids to eat a little bit healthier, and maybe you too.
So we're taking three-fourths of a cup of our white whole wheat flour, half a cup of chopped pecans, 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar.
Now remember, our pecans are going to be a good source of protein. They are higher in calories, but it is that good source of fat as well, that monounsaturated. So, you know, it's something that we do want to incorporate into our diet in limited portions, following along with our heart-healthy parameters.
And a half teaspoon of salt. And salt is good in these in a crust. It does add a nice flavor contrast to the sugar.
Right. And as mentioned so many times, everything in moderation. A small amount of salt can be kept in the diet. As long as you're not eating the entire pie,
Yep.
all of the bars, this is going to be just fine.
Okay, we pulse those ingredients until you get a nice ground mix. Then you're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter right into the Cuisinart, a tablespoon at a time. And give that a pulse. That was 1. Two. And 3.
Good counting, Mimi.
We put a half teaspoon of vanilla.
Now you'll notice that we do have the imitation vanilla here, and that's going to be just fine. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to track down regular vanilla. It might be more expensive, but the imitation will do just as well.
And I heard that when you bake with vanilla, you cook out some of the flavor, so that imitation vanilla is actually fine to use while you're baking. Now, if you're going to make whipped cream and you're just putting a touch of vanilla into your whipping cream and it's not going to have any kind of heat, fresh vanilla is wonderful, real vanilla.
Also, if you're trying to ward off the gnats, you've got to use the real vanilla.
Oh yeah, that's actually a different type of vanilla. It's not a cooking vanilla. You can get it at the pharmacy. Okay, so we added half a teaspoon of vanilla, and then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of ice water and pulse while you're adding this. And you'll be surprised at how this dough just comes right together after you put in the 2 tablespoons of water. So give it a pulse. And you can see it's kind of
clumping
a little bit, and that's just going to be perfect consistency to press into our baking pan.
You know, that water acted quite well as a substitution for the high amounts of butter that would normally be associated with a pie crust. So that water worked just as well, and now we have a pretty well-formed pie crust here that is going to pack in there quite tightly. The pecans, too, are going to give it its own unique flavor, something that you don't normally find in a pie crust. Now it's going to complement those raspberries quite well. That's a nice combination.
So you just gently press this into the pan. Throw that into a 400-degree oven for 15 minutes just to get it just golden. Once it's done, we have our lovely crust.
Well, that was fast.
Yeah, so that's ready. Then the next thing we're going to prepare is the raspberry filling. And, oh, go ahead.
All right, and before we jump into that, let's go ahead and check in with Holly and take a look at our Fit in 5.
Welcome to today's Fit in 5. You know, one of the things I really love about New Ulm is its great park system. New Ulm is full of great parks and playgrounds for our kids to stay active and have fun. But how many of us will go to the park and sit and just watch our kids play? Did you know you can use your kids' playground equipment for your own personal activity program? We're here at Harmon Park today, and I'm going to show you how you can use some of the playground equipment for you to stay active while your kids are at play. So you don't have to just sit. You can get up and be fit. You see these stairs? They're not just for kids. Adults can have fun on these as well. Take these stairs, run up, and walk or run down. Try that 2, 5, or 10 times, and you've got a great cardiovascular workout. Remember these things as a kid? I used to love to play on these growing up on my playground at school. You can use them as an adult too. Grab hold, try to go 1 or 2 rungs at a time, and you've got a great strength training workout. Remember going up the stairs backwards as a kid? We loved to go up backwards, but do you remember also getting yelled at by the playground monitor for doing that? Well, guess what? Now it can be part of your physical activity routine as an adult. So we could take the slide, run up, and slide back down, and you've got a great cardio workout. Then you can come on over. At Harmon Park, they have a great rock climbing wall. You can climb up, look over the top, come right back down. Do that again 2, 5, or 10 times, and you've got a great workout. The last thing we're going to do today is some step-ups. Again, we're back at more stairs or more steps, and basically it's a very simple move. You take the longest step that you can reach, and you're going to come up and back down, lift, and back down. It provides a really nice strength training workout for the legs, and it gets your heart pumping as well. Hopefully these playground activities will help you feel like a kid again. For today's Fit in 5, I'm Holly. Have a healthy day.
Great, Holly. Thanks for those wonderful tips. All right, Mimi, where are we at with this recipe?
We're going to make the raspberry filling for our raspberry bars. We start with unflavored gelatin. And we're going to take 2 teaspoons, I'm going to put my 2 teaspoons of unflavored gelatin, put that into a small bowl. And maybe just a hair more here. There. What the heck. And add 2 tablespoons of water to that.
Now that unflavored gelatin is found right with your regular jellos and other flavored jellos in your baking aisle, something that maybe we don't use very often, but is actually quite effective when you're using a bar or something to help those stand up a little bit.
Right. Okay, so that's mixed together. We will cook this shortly to get some of that granular texture smoothed out. Okay, 3 cups of raspberries. Back into the food processor with a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar.
The This recipe could be modified slightly by using a sugar substitute, although it will change the consistency of your bars. So, if you're going to use something, there are some different substitutes that actually are made for baking that will have regular sugar included with them. Make sure you're careful with that. It will change the consistency of your bars.
Okay. You want to puree the raspberries. And unlike some recipes, we're not going to strain this because the seeds will add that extra fiber that is so good for you in your diet.
Great.
So pour that into a little saucepan. We're going to heat that up with the gelatin. And you want to bring this to a boil. Let it boil for about 1 minute until the gelatin dissolves, and then we're going to chill it down. So I'm going to let that cook a little bit. Now I made this raspberry filling earlier. It's not quite gelled. It will take a little longer to gel. So it's thickening, but it's not quite where you want it yet. But in the meantime, while this is sitting on the counter and we're waiting for the raspberries to boil, we'll make up the little cream cheese topping.
All right, so what are we looking for our consistency on this, Mimi? Then
Actually,
what are we missing?
It should be quite firm.
Okay.
Yeah, even more firm than a jam.
Okay.
So you'll see when we bring out the finished tart that it does have a nice firm consistency on it.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to get that Cuisinart back again. Rinse this out real quick.
By adding a little bit of sugar, we're adding to the sweetness of our fruit as well. So, if you're not big on things like raspberries, or if you don't normally choose a fruit as a snack, this is a good way to maybe spice it up a little bit, make it more appealing to you, and yet meet your fruits and vegetable servings. In keeping with the Mediterranean diet, we do ask that you get 7 to 9 fruits and vegetable servings per day. With our Heart of New Ulm scorecard, we ask for a minimum of 5, so that's what we're looking for. If you went through our Heart of New Ulm screening, you know your Heart of New Ulm score, where we're looking for you to move to a perfect 10, a 10 out of 10, to make sure that you're doing the best you can for your heart.
All right, we've got a little more than 4 tablespoons. We've got about double that. We've got about 8 tablespoons of softened cream cheese. To that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of skim milk and about 1.5 tablespoons of powdered sugar. That's it.
Again, we did use the fat-free cream cheese. This is going to bring down your overall calorie count quite a bit. And what kind of consistency are we looking for now, Mimi?
Well, we want it to be a little softer than the texture of real cream cheese.
Okay.
Maybe about the consistency of a nice frosting. Maybe
right.
just slightly looser than a frosting.
So we're going to blend that for about how long?
That's about it.
Okay.
That's it on that. Now, I have a nice little trick that I like to use for this recipe. Where's my bag? Because we're going to be kind of doing a design on top of this raspberry tart, raspberry bar. So in order to make a nice pattern on top of our raspberry bar, if you put this cream cheese into a Ziploc bag, you want to hold that open?
Sure.
For me? All right, that's all we need.
Okay.
We'll seal that up, take the air out of it, and then we will let this chill to get a little more firm along with our raspberry filling that still, we're waiting for that to boil still. But like I said, we've got some others we can work with. So the cream cheese and then this raspberry filling that needs to thicken up a little bit, we'll put that back in the fridge. We'll bring that tart out. Now this is a raspberry tart. The filling is still slightly loose. It could chill just a little bit more, but we're going to go ahead and work with it now. So you've got your cream cheese in your bag, cream cheese
Yep,
topping.
and now this one has been chilled, so Mimi
Right.
brought this along.
It's got a little
more firm.
Snip a corner of the bag, and then we'll just do dollops. Oops, I want to make it more circular. Okay.
This is going to make a very pretty dessert and will look perfect
Yeah.
at a barbecue.
Now, if you find that your raspberry filling is not getting as firm as you'd like, you can certainly, the next time, add a little more gelatin, and
Okay.
that'll bring it right, make it nice and firm.
Now, how long did you let that sit in the refrigerator?
Well, the recipe suggests overnight.
Okay.
30 minutes is just the bare minimum, but this one has been probably almost an hour, but I still think it needs to go a little bit longer.
So your goal is to make sure that each piece that is cut off has some of the cream cheese on there, correct?
Right, and then we'll put a fresh raspberry on each one as
great.
well. So take your a toothpick or a sharp knife, and you just want to drag through there. Oops, not really. Not doing what we had hoped. Anyway, let's see. If that raspberry was a little more firm, we'd probably get a little more decoration going on here.
And now you can make this into any decoration you want. You can pull that cream cheese through as much as you'd like. It's going to add a little bit of decor and a little bit of flavor. So you can see that with the recipe, so far we have not used all the cream cheese that
There's
was
plenty
required.
more.
Yeah.
You could actually put a full, in fact, let's just do that. Let's just put a nice ring around the whole thing.
That cream cheese then is going to temper the sweetness of the raspberries as well. It's going to make it a nice, full-flavored dessert.
Hello, my name is Toby Fryer, and I'm the Assistant Administrator at New Ulm Medical Center. I oversee the strategy, operations, and finance for the Medical Center, and I wanted to share a few updates of some things happening at the Medical Center here in the upcoming months. First of all, I wanted to share a little bit of an update on our oncology program. We have some great news for the community. We've been approved to have a capital project where we're going to be able to relocate our oncology or chemotherapy area to the lower level of our clinic. This will provide us the opportunity to expand our space by 2 to 3 times the size of the space we have today, and that's just really going to open up opportunities for us to provide a much more patient-centered, family-centered environment to receive cancer care within our building, and will provide us the opportunity to continue to grow our services. One of the reasons why we're going to be optimistic about the future is we just have a great new partnership with the Virginia Piper Cancer Institute out of the Abbott Northwestern campus within the Allina Health System. And we're going to really work hard at collaborating with them and integrating services. For example, we're looking to start a new genetic counseling program for patients and families here within the New Ulm Medical Center. We're going to work hard on some care navigation services for patients that go from New Ulm to the Abbott campus and back here to make sure they receive all the appropriate care. And I think that the environment in the lower level of the clinic is just going to be optimal for patients and families together to receive their cancer care. And we're just excited about that project in the Virginia Piper Cancer Institute partnership that we're just starting on right now. Also wanted to give an update on our Sister Kenny collaboration that we've had with Abbott Northwestern and the Allina Health System. Things are progressing very nicely with the introduction of new programs and services. Recently started to offer a concussion management program for youth involved in sports in the community. There's been recent news stories about a dramatic increase in the number of concussions that are happening to youth involved in sports and coming into emergency rooms. So we really think this program is going to help coaches, help physicians, help families make good decisions regarding their children involved in sports, and hopefully limit the harm that can be done to youth related to concussion problems. We're going to be working on an ACL and have started that, an ACL prevention program where we were going to try to prevent ACL injuries in student athletes in our area. And we're also going to be working on a Run Smart program that's going to help Hopefully many adults across our community remain active or start to be active through an injury prevention or injury program that we're going to be working on through our Sister Kenny site here in New Ulm. One more area I wanted to update everybody on is work we're doing related to patient satisfaction or the patient experience here. We take a lot of pride in the medical center in New Ulm here, and we want to make sure we're doing everything possible to meet the ongoing needs and expectations of everybody that wants to receive health care from New Ulm Medical Center. So as a team, all 500 staff and physicians have started to work through a program which we are calling We Pledge Patients First. And within that program, all of our staff and physicians have received training on the new program of how we best can put ourselves in patients' and family shoes and look at our healthcare delivery system here in New Ulm and all the sites that we have between Winthrop and services in Mankato, and what we can do to continue to be focused on putting patients first by welcoming our patients and families into the medical center, following up on the care that they are having with us, by thanking them and showing appreciation, the compassion and empathy that we need to share with patients and families here, and then also systematically of hopefully addressing any issues that patients might be having here with the medical center, whether it be access to care, whether it be follow-up. We want to make sure that our patients have complete confidence and trust in the medical system here at New Ulm Medical Center, and we're engaging in a new program to invite all of our patients and community to help identify ways how we can improve the healthcare experience for them at New Ulm Medical Center. So we're really excited about that program and hope that all of our patients and community members will take the opportunity to provide feedback to us. We're going to provide that opportunity through surveys and on-site opportunities of engaging in discussion with that. So I thank you for your time and thank you for your support of New Ulm Medical Center.
Make sure you're getting involved with the Heart of New Ulm as well. It's for your heart health. We're here to help you. Okay, Mimi, let's finish out this recipe.
All right. Well, we took our cream cheese and we did a few circles around the whole tart, and then drew the toothpick or a sharp knife through the lines of cream cheese to make a nice little pattern. And then with fresh raspberries, we're going to dot all the way around the outside of the tart, so everyone will get one fresh raspberry with their piece of tart.
Great.
So you can see you get quite a few portions out of this little tart.
And it is a beautiful dessert. It looks really tasty.
13.
All right.
Yeah.
Looks great. Well, Mimi, we sure appreciate it. This is a beautiful recipe. Remember, when you're making those desserts, don't go ahead with the old staples or the old standbys. Give the new recipe a try. Make the small modifications to make it heart healthy. Remember, it's for your good. We appreciate you being here today, Mimi.
Thank you.
And we look forward to eating your dessert.
Yummy.
That's it for this episode of What's Cooking, New Ulm. We'll see you next week.